literally intervene in D&D settings, you know? Like I like because it takes away the idea of faith, right? That you have to have faith in a god, right? Like, and I like
True.
the idea that the gods don't really meddle in the material plane that like all that much.
Yeah, it goes back to that if the gods demonstrably exist in your reality, atheism is just a form of idiocy.
Well, it's like I guess in the case of Rahadum, right? It's they believe that worshiping a god is essentially selling your immortal soul to that powerful being, right? Which is in the D&D cosmology kind of how it works, you know? And so that's what makes their beliefs interesting.
Right. That is definitely all very interesting. But what it is not is the Black Cat Dance Club.
Oh, that's right. We were going to party.
Oh yeah, we are dressed for success.
We look good.
Well, some of you look good. Some of you look like you're wearing clothes for the first time in a while.
I look good.
It's the first time he showered in a minute.
And
Got
a
the
hot
haircut.
minute.
But we could definitely be struggling if Lucas is unable to communicate other than through text.
Is your mic working, Lucas?
I mean, he may be, on silent mode for current, but
Is he doing dad things?
yeah,
Ah, there you go.
that's kind of what I figured. And Amanda has also been suspiciously quiet.
She was grabbing her chair at the start of this.
It's because she's the Necrons.
I was assuming she
went
was just
nighty-night.
asleep since, she's now the Necron. She's not going to wake up for at least 6 or 12 hours.
Let's
Yeah,
go
it's just-
plunder. That'll wake her up.
So does that make Ryan's house a tomb world?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Ryan.
Well, there's a lot of dogs that sleep here, so I guess it all checks out.
And the Tau have clearly just wandered in and are kind of trying to figure out what the heck's going on.
Yeah, whole place is empty. This is great.
Resources for us.
Look at all these materials just lying around defenseless.
Hey, what are those weird pyramid things coming up out of the ground?
We should dig those up.
I bet they got cool treasure in them.
Yeah, until the robots wake up and start blasting.
Maybe these robots are for the greater good.
You know, my main problem with the Necrons is I think the Necrons are cool, but goddamn, are the Tomb Kings from fantasy just so much cooler? I fucking love the Tomb Kings.
Look, I haven't delved into the fantasy side of it, okay?
It's sad because the fantasy side, the world literally imploded from chaos, and they just stopped doing it, and then they opened it back up 10 years later with Age of Sigmar, which I don't think is as fun because it's like fantasy, but godly fantasy, and I don't enjoy the aesthetic as much.
You want the grim darkness of the far future.
No, I want old fantasy with the old worlds and humans and lizards and rats and mummies and
the orc boys.
And the orcs.
That's in 40K, I almost never see anyone talk about the orcs anymore.
I was looking at them and I was like, you know what? That looks like they would be so much fun to play.
I love the orcs.
A lot of the memes are orcs. I've seen that.
I played through a few of the games as orc armies. Like the 40K, kind of like the StarCraft style games.
Yeah.
Dawn of War?
That's it. The Dawn of War.
I fucking love Dawn of War.
I mean, the orcs are interesting because they're like fungus. They're kind of alive.
My favorite thing about the orcs is how their magic works. I'm going to paint flames on this cart, and it's just going to work because I believe it.
Because they believe it. It's just that's fantastic.
See, that's divine magic without gods, man.
So we should all be orcs for this campaign.
Perfect.
If you guys like Warhammer computer games and like the sort of tactical team-based combat, not like unit or squad-based, but like individual unit-based, the Warhammer 40K Mechanicus game is pretty good, and it's obviously the Mechanicus and the Necrons primarily.
Mechanicus is super fucking fun. I love Mechanicus.
And while it's limited to like a single faction, so far I've enjoyed Warhammer 40K Battle Sector. You play as the Blood Angels, and it's primarily against the Tyranids.
That's cool. So is it fighting over ball?
Is it?
Like their
Oh,
home
Lord,
world during the Tyranid invasion? Because they had to call all of them back for that shit.
No, I think it's just like it's a world that they've pushed the Tyranids off of largely, and there's still just like some pockets they're still trying to put down. But it actually has like the
Battleship
feel
Trophy.
of the actual Warhammer tabletop experience because it is squad based. You know, you've got to pick your team. You've only got so many points you can spend, that kind of stuff.
That's
Which
cool.
one's this one's called? I think this is the one I was looking at.
Battle sector.
Yeah. That's the one where I was like watching gameplay and I'm like, which one's the one most like 40K tabletop? And that one seemed like it just with the entire way how every combat works.
From everything I've seen of like how it works on the tabletop versus the computer games, that's the closest I've seen to actually having the tabletop game as a computer game.
What was it called again?
Battle sector.
So, just a tip on buying Warhammer games. They go on sale like fucking all the
Oh yeah,
time.
all the time.
And they go on like, cause my favorite Warhammer game, it's called Total War Warhammer. And
I have that one.
I've played 1, 2, and 3. I fucking have all the DLCs, all the race packs. I was actually playing it when I hopped into the call. And that's honestly where my love for Warhammer came from, because I like fell in love with this game because I played Total War Shogun, and that was a lot of fun. And then it's like, oh, there's fantasy. I'll try that out. And I just fell in love with Warhammer Fantasy. And then I'm like, you know what? I wonder about 40K. I guess it's in the future. And then, goddamn, did I fall in love with 40K lore? Just the lore is so intense.
It is just so ridiculously over the top, but it is kind of, you know, entertaining in that way.
Fucking awesome.
It is kind of the definition of grimdark.
There's only war.
Very
That's
all
right.
or nothing.
And
What is a black cat?
you do kind of have to love some of the taglines you get from the classic franchises like that. You know, in the grim dark future, there is only war, and then war never changes.
Or Metal Gear. I always love the argument between the Fallout people and the Metal Gear Solid. War never changes. And then Metal Gear is like, war has changed with the invention of the nuclear weapons.
I mean,
I love Metal Gear Solid because it's just like in its essence, it's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't have nuclear weapons.
Okay, well, I think everyone's back. So, who would like to do the recap from last week?
shit happened.
That's one way of putting it.
We started with Rain's drop off, right? Where he was sniffing about and caught hints of the beast from some of the people that he was nearby.
Oh yeah, and then he
That's
went
the deal.
to Gracie Lou Freebush's garage.
Yeah, delivery boy.
Delivery.
And we robbed a warehouse.
We did.
Yep.
Very
Yep, you robbed a
successfully, I
warehouse.
might add.
Yeah, quite successfully.
We had like $6,000 of stuff. Then he
And
picked us up on his way to the Black Cat for the second drop off. And that's when we all decided to just glow up.
I think it was less you all decided as much as it was that certain individuals demanded it happen.
If we're going to be at the same club at the same time in the same
Yeah,
space.
it's like, if I'm going to be in the same vicinity as you where other people might see us, you have to change clothes.
Not even other people. If I have to see you.
Suit up.
That's right. And I must say, everyone cleans up quite well.
I mean, it's all right. It's a start.
It's a start. This is the best Rain's ever looked in his life.
That's unfortunate.
Oh no, you're so mean. Wait, I'm Rain. I don't care. I'm rough.
Yeah, Rain doesn't care. Jeremy cares. Jeremy's hurt by that.
Look, guys, I'm a nice person in real life, okay? But Blake
know.
isn't.
That's what makes it fun. It's like playing an RPG and just picking only the bad dialogue options.
All right, and then after everyone suited up, you made your way to the Black Cat. And I believe basically the group had just kind of split up. Some individuals were heading to the front door to go into the club, and some were kind of making their way around the back.
Harry's going inside. Time to dance.
Yeah, I just kind of walk to the front as I usually do, and I just kind of glance at the bouncer, and I expect to be allowed in. I don't really hesitate.
No, and he gives you one quick glance and just pulls the velvet rope aside for you.
So everyone's here with me, or who? Because I know Terry's with me for sure.
Rain went around back.
Rain went to the back.
Yeah.
Alex
Cool.
is with you guys at the front.
Alex is?
I think so.
Okay. And then Jay is. Where's Jay?
I have no idea.
Well, it's up to you.
Where do you
Is
choose
Jay
to be?
going in the front with everybody else, or is he?
Jay will drive Rain in the Suburban to the back. Or whatever vehicle we're taking to the back.
Okay. So then I'm going to make sure the bouncer knows that Terry and Alex are with me.
Okay, so basically, you managed to pull this off. Like, you clearly belong here. There's no question about whether you are an appropriate attendee at this club, and you're sweeping in with these two could look more or less like bodyguards, on either side of you.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah, you guys cleaned up pretty nicely.
And so the bouncer just kind of, again, it hasn't been that long since you were there last time. He recognizes you, knows that you are now one of the in crowd at the club, and just passes you through. You don't even attempt to go through any sort of line. And half the people you're walking past are giving you looks that are either half hunger or half anger. And sometimes both. As you get inside the club, the music is loud, The dance floor's packed. All the booths around and above the dance floor on the balcony seem to be taken. The bar's crowded. I mean, it's a very busy night, and you see Diamond Jamie up there spinning.
There's my boy.
I guess that's one way of putting it.
What would you guys like to do?
Terry is going to use the blush of life.
I think we did those last time.
We did?
I've got a whole bunch of rouse checks in the log from the end of last session.
Oh, is that what that was for? I thought that was just for
That was going into the club.
because we hadn't rolled for being hungry.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the rouse check was to do the blush of life, and it has the potential to make you hungry. And it was a good gauge of, you're walking into this club with all these people. Is there
How
someone
hungry are you
there?
going into the buffet?
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize that's why you were having us make those checks.
Yeah, that was why.
Oh, well.
All
Then
right.
Terry's gonna get a glass of wine.
Okay.
Show off.
Yep. Suck it.
No thanks.
Okay, so you guys start making your way around the club, and we'll cut over to our other companions here. So, Jay, apparently you're driving.
Yep. Pull around back, couple buildings away, and then hop out. So, where would you like me to be, Rain?
Just stand behind me. You're with me.
All right, I'll follow your lead.
And then I'm gonna grab the bag and head up to the back door and knock very loudly.
All right. When you knock on the door, it takes a minute, but guy, not terribly big, but fairly serious looking, opens the back door and says, "What do you want?"
I have a delivery for Diamond Jamie. His hands only.
He's spinning right now. Be done with his set in about 15 minutes. You can sit in the back room.
All right. Come on. I'm gonna head inside.
All right, you head in. Guy points you down the hallway. You're kind of in a back storage area, where like extra stuff for the bar is stored. There's some things, equipment and things that look like spares for lights and that kind of stuff. It's a fairly large storage area, and it's got a smaller. This is not the main office of the building, but there is like a smaller working office down there. He points you in that direction.
Head towards the office and walk in and take a seat. I'm assuming there's chairs like in front and behind the desk, maybe.
Yeah, there's a couple of chairs, just like one of those not very comfortable couches along one wall.
I'll sit in the chair.
All right. And you can hear the music thumping upstairs. I guess not upstairs, further into the building.
Wait, no, I'm a vampire. I gotta do this proper. Can I sit in the desk chair, like the office chair?
Sit behind the desk.
Yeah.
We'll wait for them
Yeah,
to come
I mean,
in.
nobody else is sitting there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a seat there.
Spin until your back is facing the door.
Oh no, I'm gonna sit there and wait for him to come in like I own the place.
Jay will post up next to a filing cabinet with his mask on, so he's in his bishop garb, and he's just kind of posted up looking ominous in the corner.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna do finger pyramids. My wife brought up a great point. I'm gonna do finger pyramids.
So you're going to sit behind the desk, finger pyramided up.
Yeah, looking like Mr. Burns.
Okay. So you're going full Mr. Burns. Got it. Got it. The again, you hear the music. You can tell it's a fair bit crowded, and you know the music you're hearing does not sound familiar to you. Uh, don't even know if you were into techno music or
No,
dance club type music.
no, he liked what his dad liked, which is like old country and southern rock.
Okay, so you wouldn't know if this was being, played live or if it was a recording or anything, but you're just kind of left there. And while you're waiting, we'll switch back to the others. What would you guys like to be doing as you're now in the club?
So DJ's up there, DJing it up. Is there anyone else familiar here?
You can make me some sort of check to see like who you notice, because again, it's pretty full.
Yeah, there's a lot. Could I do an awareness check with my charisma skill?
With your charisma.
'Cause
So
people notice me, so I feel like when I walk in, people, they turn to look at me naturally. So like when they turn to look at me, I can make eye contact and be able to
I like it.
see them better.
Give them the eyes and then read them.
Yeah, no, you use your natural charisma to draw attention, gives you a better feel for who's there, who's looking at you, and maybe notice people in particular who aren't looking at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, go for it.
Okay, I think oh. Wow. What dots? So many. That's not
Yeah.
good.
So
Bum, bum, bum.
a dot is just means that it was not a success.
Wow. That's pretty sad.
I mean, you got one success.
Yeah, you got one
You
success.
got 2 1s in there. Damn, Amanda.
Like, that's just sad.
Yeah, but you didn't get a bestial failure.
Well,
Could have
that's
been
true.
worse.
It could have been worse.
Could
Could have been worse.
So bestial failure is a 1 in the hunger.
Yes,
Right.
if she had rolled a 1 on one of the hunger dies.
And does that mean like she fails the roll? Like if it's a 1 in the bestial failure?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Like
You
in
could
this particular
succeed
case.
and still get a bestial failure.
No, if you succeed, you don't get a bestial failure.
Oh, really?
You
Okay.
can have a bestial success or a bloody success. I've got to get better at the terminology. But you can have something where you succeed, but the inner beast sort of drives that success, and you have to role play that out.
Oh, that's cool.
In this case, this wasn't really a difficulty to be overcome. This is more just how well did she see the area, and did she notice anyone that she recognizes?
It's dark in
And-
here.
That's an excellent excuse, but for someone who has heightened senses, that's really not a problem. So basically, you're preoccupied looking around. You are a little on the hungry side, and so your eyes are wandering more towards people who are attracting your attention for that reason, and less for a general sense of who might be here.
No, I'm okay. Because I know we came here to speak with. I'm terrible with names, so I know I want to say Maria, and I just don't think that's right.
There's
like-
Monica.
Monica. We came here initially to talk.
Oh, yeah, initially.
Monica's missing though, right?
Yeah, she's been gone for a while.
Monica. And there was another one who's missing too.
Victor.
Yeah, let me grab my notebook.
Yeah, Victor is missing.
All the names. I'm just like, oh no.
This is the worst campaign for you, Amanda.
Oh,
The names.
you don't even know so many names that I haven't even gotten to yet.
Well, see, here's the
Like-
thing. Blake is not going to be a name person because I can't be a name person, and everyone should just know her, and she doesn't have to know anyone.
I mean, this works. I think that is an excellent character description for Blake.
Looking around, does Terry recognize anybody in the club? In the club?
You can make me a check
Sure. Awareness and charisma, same one.
if you'd like. You think you have that natural charisma that people are checking you out too?
I mean, I do. Yes.
right.
Is my awareness? Where's my awareness? Oh yeah. I've got to even have a dot in awareness. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, fame is a good
Two
one.
successes.
All right, I'll say you do see a couple of people you recognize, and you can tell me who they are.
I believe. At one point, you said that Brenda Bogman comes here, didn't you?
I did. That Monica was. This was kind of her place, if you will.
Mm.
Like a lot of
No,
the
no,
people
yeah, no, I picked
associated
that
with
up.
her showed up here.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, Bogman was one of those.
And I think you also said that. Who else did you say was fucking here? Was it Seamus, the Irish Hammer Dinnigan?
That would be him.
All right, I remembered. Look at me go.
I think it was technically Irish Hammer 73, I think.
I might make good.
Let me look at my note on my character that I made.
Oh no. You know who I want to be here?
73 is correct, Ben.
I want either Mike, the writer for Mike McIntyre, the writer, or Jennifer, who works for the Moon newspaper.
All right. I'll say. Then it is Jennifer Sweeney, who you've noticed. She's kind of a young, up-and-coming reporter, and she does not look like she's here in any sort of official capacity. Looks like she's just out with some friends having a good time, but you do notice her.
Terry's gonna point her out to Blake and Alex. That's who I'm with. Alex is there? Yes.
Yeah.
And say, see her over there? That's Jennifer Sweeney. She works for the Moon as a newspaper reporter. Word is bomb. She is somebody that Diamond Jamie told me might know some things about Monica and what is going on, right? That's why I wrote her name down.
Yep.
Uh,
She had
Blake,
a connection to Monica, and
she's with her friends, Blake. So what do you think how should we play this?
I don't usually play anything. I just kind of go and ask what I want.
Well, I'll after you.
So real quick before I just walk over there, like we're just trying to figure out about Monica, right? How she's been missing.
What happened to Monica? Yeah, is part of it. Yeah, because if we can find her, that's great.
Okay. Storyteller.
yes.
I already forgot this girl's name. But this girl know me?
Jennifer Sweeney.
Jennifer Sweeney of Moon Reporter Lady. Does she know me? Like, have we had interactions in the past?
I'm gonna say probably not.
Okay, well, that makes it a little bit more difficult. And we know of her because when we were here, JD told us that they were friends.
Yeah, Diamond Jamie told us that Jennifer, who works for the Moon newspaper, knew things about Monica, and that Mike, who is a writer for the paper, Mike McIntyre, knows some things about her, and that Brenda Bogman and Lieutenant Denigan would come by and sometimes talk to her. Those were the things I learned from Diamond Jamie.
So much condensed information. Okay, cool. I'm gonna fuck this up, but let's do it. Let's do it.
You got this.
Blake's gonna walk across the room, approaching Jennifer.
We're gonna go with her like her less like her bodyguards and more like her friends.
Got it.
Gonna
And as
order
you guys
a
are
bright-looking cocktail, so I look a little less intimidating.
excellent.
Something in a martini glass.
I love it.
So, Alex, I'd like you to also make me some form of a observational check.
How about like an intelligence and either investigation or medicine check, with the idea that he's looking like, if we have some time to kill and like if push comes to shove, just keeping an eye out for what look to be med students that might be hanging out at the club.
Sure.
Something to snack on later, maybe.
Sure.
Just, you know, just in case. All right. We are rolling hot tonight.
Oof, oof.
We just came here to party.
We got 4 successes between the 3 of us.
Okay.
And no one rolled. I rolled the least with 4 dice.
Yes, we've got some definite stormtrooper aim going on.
You know, we're just having fun, yo. You know, like we're enjoying each other's company. You know, Blake is. It's really hard to look anywhere else. You know.
Yeah, so what I'm going to say is, Alex, as you're walking over, you know, Terry and Blake are still talking just a little bit about like what they're after. You're sort of tagging along, being a little looking around, like you said, for maybe a snack later. And you see one of the girls who seems to be in this group of friends you're approaching sort of peel off with a young man and head towards the back. And as she's walking away, you're like, she looks tasty. But, you know, you just kind of file that away for yourself and then move on.
All right.
So, Blake, you are now approaching Jennifer Sweeney and her friends.
Okay, so Blake's gonna walk up, and she is her usual towering self, and she's gonna walk straight up to Jennifer Sweeney, and she's gonna look down on her and be like, "Oh, is that you, Jennifer? DJ's told me so much about you. What a pleasure to finally see you in person."
Hi. Do I know you? And DJ?
Diamond J?
I'm a Jamie.
Diamond Jamie, yeah.
Oh, you mean the DJ? Right. Oh, right.
Yeah, we came in here the other night and we were talking about Monica. You know Monica, right?
Oh, yeah. No, I know Monica. Yeah.
We haven't seen her in like
I
such
didn't
a
realize
long
that.
time.
I didn't realize Diamond Jamie even knew who I was. I've only met him once.
Oh, well, he was really close, with Monica, and he keeps a tab on all the people. That's what DJs do.
Oh, okay, right. Well, yeah. I mean, good. It's nice to meet you. Is there something you needed?
Well, we were talking about Monica. We were just wondering, I haven't seen her around here in such a long time, and seeing that you guys were close and all, I was just curious if You've maybe heard anything.
No, I mean, well, maybe like I don't think this is the best place to try to talk. Do you?
It is really loud. Yeah, no, you've got a really good point. Do you wanna go to the bathroom?
Not
Girl,
particularly. I mean,
or VIP? We have our own little booth in the back. Would you rather that?
you've got a booth in the VIP section?
Don't you know who you're talking to, man?
I obviously not. But I mean, yeah, if you know Diamond Jamie that well and have a booth, I mean, can I bring my friends with me?
I look at them, and how do they look?
They look like they're trying. They look. I mean, it's a group of young, probably professional women who are out to have a good time, but they've dressed up pretty well. They know that they're going to kind of a popular and a place they're likely to get noticed. So you wouldn't necessarily have gone with some of the color combinations they've picked and hairstyles, very much like last year. But
If you must, yes, why not?
On a scale from like 1 to 10.
Are we rating women now, Jeremy? Is that what we're doing?
Isn't that what Blake always does?
She rates everyone, to be
Yeah.
fair.
But now she's judging her friends. I just thought they were all women. It meant nothing like that.
I guess was there a specific thing you were interested in about the group?
No, mostly just that they looked decent enough to be in my presence.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know that you're still by far the best looking person in this.
I'm not worried about
this
that.
group. Yeah, exactly. But no, this is not a Charles Dia situation here.
Yeah, that's what I was mostly worried about. And just like also like if any of them had too terrible, like, just to be like, you can stay. But I guess they're all okay. So we'll allow it.
And
Yeah, and she'll make her way to the back and claim herself a spot because I can do that.
yeah, I mean, again, you just go walking towards the VIP section, and she gathers up her friends, and she looks around and says, "Did Brittany run off with that guy? I mean, can somebody go find him or find her? Let her know where we're going." And Alex, I'm going to say you volunteer to.
I think I saw her step towards the back.
All right. Well, I mean, if you know where we're going, where the booth is, then I guess if you could, go let her know, that'd be great. Thank you.
I'll meet you guys back there.
All right.
Gary will put his arms around the other two women and he'll say, "Hello, ladies."
Would you like to make me some sort of what sort of impression are you trying to make?
A good one. Because Terry is a consensualist and he's going to need somebody that likes him eventually.
So we're looking here at more of a charisma and
persuasion is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Now there are some successes.
Yay!
Okay,
Five successes. I mean, Terry's a very good-looking man. He's
And they
beautiful,
noticed
too.
that. They both noticed that.
Oh, I
And-
should have added an extra die to that for my beautiful. I need to remember my shit.
Go right ahead. Roll one more. See if you can turn into
Wait.
6 successes.
Okay. It's just a D10.
D10
Yep,
above
just a D10.
5 is a success.
Worth it though.
Still, yeah, both of them. I mean, at first they you can feel they tensed up just a little bit as you went to go put an arm around each of them, but they relax very quickly and are willing to be escorted away with you, and you start making some very charming small talk as you're working your way off the dance floor. So,
Oh,
Alex,
I also have my awe ability that I need to fucking remember too.
I was just about to use mine.
I was gonna say yes, you do have that, but again, I won't say it's obvious that when you're using it, but it will, like it can be somewhat focused, but if you were to like turn it on right here, you would draw the attention of basically everyone around you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, that's how that works. Got it.
Yeah, it's like just this radiating sense of awe that regular humans can pick up on and will respond to.
So
I just
that's for
live in that.
that's for later.
It's pheromones.
That's for
Yeah.
later. Got it.
Pheromones. Wait, that didn't sound as good, but I said it out loud. I'm sorry.
So to the booth.
All right, I now have to find a certain GIF. There you go. All right, so Alex, you start heading towards the back where you saw this friend of hers going. Let's see, what is your just general kind of perception-y sorts of ratings? With your either intelligence and awareness, intelligence and awareness, you are fairly quick to sort of suss out where you think this person played, because it did look like she was going off with someone else, and there's only so many sort of dark corners in a dance club like this that's as crowded as this is. So you start heading for those. And you fairly quickly find the person you think you're looking for. She and the fellow you saw her walk off with are in one of those dark corners, and they seem to be in a fairly tight embrace, I'll say.
Approaching the two of them, could I use my bloodhound advantage or trait to get to effectively make a resolve and awareness check at difficulty 3 in order to find out the resonance of the human's blood without tasting it?
Absolutely.
All right.
Look at Ryan using the rules.
Let's see. Resolve and awareness. Click the other one first.
Good thing you got that one success.
Yeah.
That's a really good success too. That's a 10.
that was almost close. You almost got that bestial failure, dog.
Oh no, this was a bestial failure.
Oh no.
The difficulty was 3.
Yeah, he'd
Yep.
have to beat 3 successes for it to
no.
not count.
Oh no.
Oh no, he's hungry.
Oh no.
So
Oh,
She smells good.
in this situation, you do not detect what the resonance of the blood is. Although you do quite strongly scent blood. And it's stirring something inside of you.
How many people are around back here? Is it still like a busy club room that they've wandered back into, or is it more like one of the hallways that the wait staff might be wandering through?
It's more of a hallway like the wait staff would be using. It's they're mostly sort of tucked in behind. We'll say it's like a thing of display pieces for upcoming attraction type things. So it's pretty. I mean, nothing's private in this dance club, but it's pretty well secluded.
But like, if I was going to use the awe presence, this is as secluded as it's going to get here.
Yes.
So like, as he starts approaching, if he gets noticed, like if one of them turns towards him, or actually, no, before either even turns towards him, he's going to start enacting this awe pheromone off of his person.
Okay. So as you do that, I assume you're walking up to them at this point?
Yes. Did Jennifer say what the friend's name is?
Brittany.
All right. Yes. I would like
All
to
right, so
approach the couple.
You've activated this particular talent of yours, and you're approaching them. What do you say, or what do you do?
Hey, Brittany, Jennifer's looking for you.
And as soon as you start to speak, the guy whips his head around, and you see two things that are unmistakable. One are some rather extended front teeth, and two is an oh so delicious drop of blood on the tip of one of them. What the hell you want, man? Get away from here.
Sorry, friend, but I think I'm going to be needing that one. Friends are in need of her. And his attempt at a peaceful kind of false smile just like immediately fades to like a scowl, like, oh, someone else got there first.
And this guy, this other vampire, it's like, listen, man, you need to get the hell out of here right now before something bad happens to you. Me and my friend here are having a good time. Leave.
Doesn't look like she's enjoying herself very much.
Actually, it looks like she's enjoying herself quite a lot.
This is considered like the domain that we were given approval of by the Cambria, right?
This is our block, right?
That
This
is
our
correct.
Okay.
This is slightly outside your neighborhood, but this location was effectively Monica's, and Blake is well on her way to establishing her claim to the facility.
Which, as a group, makes it our claim. Like that Bugs
Correct.
Bunny meme. Our claim.
I mean, as much as Blake wants to let you, participate.
I'll let her think that she's participating.
Well, this is Blake's hunting grounds, right?
I don't know.
Well, actually, I don't know either. I was just I sorry, I assumed that.
What I will say is that effectively, I think you guys are all asking the exact right question. Is we're supposed to be establishing control over this area. That makes this our turf.
Ooh.
So what are you going to do about that?
I have a question, storyteller. I have premonition, which allows me to have sudden inspiration or even vivid visions. Would Jay/Bishop pick up on potential conflict? That's right, essentially around the corner from where they're at.
I mean, I think that's an excellent opportunity to see if that's what happens.
Cool.
So, I think I'm going to say that you can. Let's see. Are you actively trying to gain a premonition? Like while you're kind of sitting there waiting, are you sort of letting your mind wander and trying to pick up on?
he's. I was actually going to say he was going to heighten his senses to see if he could hear what's happening around him, waiting for someone to come in. Which means that all and told he's going to be opening up his senses, which means premonitions, visions, that kind of thing too.
Okay. Then I need you to make me a resolve plus aspects roll.
All right, resolve and aspects. Oh, I just zoomed in my thing. Hold on.
And here I think I'm going to say that basically you get your two points in aspects. You get your 2 points in resolve. And I'll give you one more die for effectively like proximity. You're trying to get a
So resolve
premonition about
+3.
something that's happening right around you, not something that's happening across town or, 20 minutes or 2 hours in the future or anything like that. So we'll see how many successes you get, and I'll describe what you sense.
2 of 2.
Okay, so because you rolled 2 successes and they were both on your hunger die, I'm going to say that while you're sitting there, again, you're also a little on the hungry side. And
a little bit.
with nothing else going on, your mind starts to wander to what you'd like to eat. And as that's floating, just sort of that thought starts to percolate in your mind, you get a sense of someone close by having what you want, which is a nice bite to eat. And with that comes just the slightest sense of, I'll say, distaste. Not for the feeding itself, but it's like someone just took a chicken finger off your plate.
Yeah, gotcha. I'm sensing the 2 vampires in the hallway, their feelings.
And you can do with that what you will.
Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of creepily glide over to Rain. He's got this the mask on, a bishop. Rain. It seems like there might be some conflict nearby. If something turns out to be more vampiric in nature than, or kindred in nature, we might want to be on our guard. We could get found out if it's not taken care of.
All right. I'm gonna step back from the chair and show me the way. You say someone's on our turf or something?
I don't know if it's necessarily someone in particular, but he kind of moves his tongue around his mouth like he's trying to taste the air almost. I think someone is trying to feed, and there's another that's not happy about them feeding. I don't know if it's one of the others, or if it's a third party coming in. But Jay will try to sense the direction. He'll activate heightened senses for the scene to give him +2 on his perception, and try to lead the way following that taste in his mouth to where the conflict is.
Rain's going to follow Jay. Like a good boy.
Didn't call you a dog, I called you Rain. It's progress.
No, I know. I honestly, ever since you called me it, I've honestly kind of built a character around it, and it's been a blast. It fits. Because he's like a good dog until he goes feral. And it works for his clan, because he's clan gangrel.
So
But I'll say, Jay, you get this sense about the time that Alex is getting to the hallway. So it's going to take you a few minutes to track down like where this is happening and that sort of thing. Not to mention, Rain is still carrying a backpack with quite a lot of drugs in it.
oh, for sure. Yeah. I just want to try to get us going in that direction in case something pops out.
Right. So we're back to Alex. And effectively, you've just been threatened by this vampire that you've never seen before.
The thing about you muddled bloodlines is you forget who you're talking to sometimes. We curried favor with Caesars, and we
Fucking laid it
whispered into
down.
the ears of Charlemagne. We bankrolled the ages of exploration and swayed policy in the holy seas. And now you think the likes of you is going to be telling me which way I should be walking. Well, my friend, I think you've got another thing coming at you faster than you expected. And I would like to just lunge at this guy.
Fuck it.
All right.
Alex.
Lethal intent.
Ooh, whoa.
And I'm going to do a blood surge with this to add 1 die to any action or discipline roll, and it's going to require a rouse check for it. But making use of his lethal body, I would like to do some damage to this guy.
Is there any screaming that happens in that moment?
Hopefully not.
Aren't there people
I'm
around
not-
you?
I think they
I will
tucked
say,
into a corner or something.
effectively, and each of you as a vampire has now fed at least once
Correct.
and has a sense that during and immediately around the time of the feeding, like I'll say the victim, the donor, however you want to look at it, depending on the situation you're in, there's a very fuzzy sense of time what's going on. They're not as aware as they might be in almost all situations. So Brittany is not particularly cognizant of things.
Okay.
Depending on how loud this gets,
Yeah, I'll
others
wait for the
might notice.
crashing.
But yeah, I mean, absolutely. Lethal body, lethal intent. This has just become a
I have not
contest.
made any attacks with Alex
Ha!
yet.
How does this work?
How does this work?
You could make a brawl. It depends how you're attacking, because there's like brawl, and then there's
Melee is
melee,
better
and
for
then
me.
there's firearms. So like I think melee means you're using like a weapon,
Yeah, a weapon.
and then like firearms is shooting a gun, and then brawl is you're using your fists. And then you use like strength or dexterity or one of your physical attributes along with it. Right, Ben? Did I do it right? Storyteller? Yeah.
So
So making use of the martini glass that he has, he would like to make a melee attack at this guy's throat.
That's brilliant.
The stem
I
of the
love
glass
it.
through the
Fucking
carotid. God,
break it. Oh god. That's so brutal.
yes,
That's
do it.
such a Blade thing to do.
And so,
totally good with that. So go ahead.
all right. This will be strength plus that, plus 1 extra die.
Nice.
3 successes?
Now, I'm going to make a roll. I still don't know the best way to do these sorts of things as the storyteller, so I'm just going to pick a couple of random stats that give me the right dice pool
Sure.
from your character sheet, so don't be surprised when you see a roll from Alex.
It's me! He was me all along.
Yeah, I haven't dug into the combat stuff of contested roles and all that fun stuff.
It's not just you set the strength of the test and wow, that guy sucks. You set the strength of the test and or is that what this is? Like you roll for them, that's how many successes Alex has to beat. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
There's tests or a contest, I guess if you will, where a contest may have a fixed difficulty. Like, hey, it's a 2 success test, it's a 5 success test, whatever. A conflict, which is an actual like interaction that would lead to damage,
Yeah.
is going to be an opposed situation. It's something that the defender's doing. It's something that the attacker is doing, or even not necessarily defender or attacker, just the 2 or more people involved in that situation. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I think last time it didn't matter because we got the surprise on them and we just fucking like took their heads off.
Basically.
They
And
shot us up.
if you remember the ones where you were taking out the Inquisition, they were like you were both rolling, and sometimes they got more successes.
Terry one-shotted both people that he hit.
Yeah, but I think someone got shot by a shotgun coming up the stairs. I think
that was Rain.
Yeah. So, anyway, in this situation though, this guy did not know. Like he was surprised at your attack. He was not prepared for that. And you get the distinct impression he had no clue that you were also a kindred because he thought he could just scare you off.
Big mistake, buddy.
So
that always works to my favor.
This is Alex's ascent to being part of his bloodline.
So I just, for rules, not clarification, but I just looked up the conflict stuff, and you basically, one player dictates what they want to do, and then the storyteller dictates what the NPC is going to do, and then you set up a set of dice pools and roll them against each other. And the highest number of successes wins.
That looks like what happened. Cool.
Yeah. Yep. So in this situation, effectively, you were making an attack. He was he was not anticipating that, and so he was just reacting to try to avoid the attack, and was not successful.
Yep. And it's same thing works.
I'm going to make a rouse check for the blood surge.
Yes. In this case, just roll 2d10s instead of doing.
It's not going on.
Yeah, Alex, let's go.
Well, first one failed.
Oh, do you not? Oh, you don't get to do it twice.
Did you use the? Oh, because we used the one free one at the beginning of the day.
No,
I think it's because that specific rouse check for the morning hunger. I think if you have humanity 7, you get advantage on it.
No, at least the way
it's our
the way I'm interpreting it, is that your blood potency means that
12th generation.
Yeah, basically the inherent power in your blood is such that certain easier things or you have enough potency that some actions are easier for you.
Oh, okay, got it.
So
like blush of life and
right. So just rousing yourself enough to pass as human is a fairly easy check. So that's why you get advantage. Now, over time, again, there'll come a point where you fail 2 rolls in a row and you get hungrier. And using specific abilities will also, do that kind of stuff. But it's still, you have a level of power in your blood that makes doing that kind of stuff a little easier. So that's where, basically, instead of using the rouse check, because it doesn't seem to include that mechanic, we'll just start rolling 2d10, and if you fail, you add a hunger.
Yeah, otherwise you have to go back and uncheck the boxes and all that dumb stuff.
But if I'm reading Alex's abilities correctly, you don't just do damage, you do aggravated damage.
Yes, it can ignore levels of armor.
And now this is this is not a mortal. So
I'm okay with that.
it will bypass any potential armor he has.
Armor penetration.
But I
It's a
don't
little
think
less lethal.
right, because I think there's some specific things where you can like grow claws and whatnot that make your
I
attacks
think so.
aggravated against
It's
other.
more for unarmed attacks too.
Yeah.
So to get the melee bonus with the Martini class, it might not apply.
Yeah.
Right, but I am going to give you three damage for your 3 successes,
Okay.
and that's a pretty substantial amount of damage to this person. So you've more or less like stabbed. Basically, as you swung the martini glass around, you managed to like snap the neck of it off against the wall, and then turned your hand and jabbed the stem into this guy's neck, and just you can tell me once it's in, what do you do?
As it's apparent that he kind of puts the puzzle pieces into place and realizes that he's talking to another. It's not vampire.
Kindred.
Kindred. And when he realizes that, like, that's when I start to extend my own fangs out, and like, my eyes glimmer a little bit from an unseen reflection. And I'm going to tell him, you better scatter off to wherever scum you crawled out of, and you let your litany know that Ridgemont is taken.
Oh shit!
All right. And as you say that, he's going to do exactly that. He's going to start taking off. Are you going to let him?
I'm going to let him scatter off so that I can scoop up Brittany and then try to cloud her memory of it. It's a terrible shame what happened there. Why don't you forget about that? To make it and if she's actively trying to resist, she can roll 6 dice against intelligence plus resolve.
No, she's not gonna resist.
Then I'll like pull off the scarf that I'm wearing and like start tying that around her neck. And
actually, you have an even better option. All you got to do is lick the wounds, and they will heal themselves.
All right.
But,
strange, but
no, as a kindred, the feeding wounds, all it takes is you basically have coagulant and masking abilities in your saliva. But I am going to make, because you've had 2 bestial failures, I want to give you a difficulty 4 check to avoid feeding on her before you cloud her memory.
Okay. Could I make this like a medicine and resolve check? Because medicine, like trying to stop the flow of blood before it becomes anything more serious for her, and like trying to figure out if he might have nicked a carotid artery with me intervening, and resolve to like see if I'm able to maintain my sense of control over this beast.
Sure.
All right, Carlisle.
That's a 3. 3 successes.
Okay. So, and I'm going to make this ruling. I think this is how it works. If not, we can always change it the next time around. You have a willpower reroll. You can temporarily spend a point of willpower.
I think you're right. I just read something about that, but I would very much like to not eat this girl and reroll one of the basic not blood dice.
And it's like, I can't remember if you can reroll both of them.
You can re-roll up to 3 regular dice on any one skill check or attribute.
Not hunger dice.
Okay. All right.
So your 3, what is it, medicine? You could re-roll.
Well, he has successes
Yeah,
on two of
two
his three. He's basically got
Oh,
one.
okay. One roll.
He's got one chance to turn a 1 into a success.
I'm going to try it.
All right, so roll me a d10.
Nope. Sorry, Brittany.
Sorry, Brittany.
Oh, sorry, Brittany. Slurp.
All right, so yeah, you
I earned
you
myself a
can't
treat.
stop yourself from taking a little taste.
Alex did good. I deserve a snack.
That's
And-
Shame to just let all this go to waste.
It's like the treat yourself snack.
And it turns out that Brittany's blood is choleric. It is the kind of like she's an active young lady. She's
Healthy.
not
That's
healthy. In the prime of her life, strong, healthy. That's the kind of a person she is right now in her life.
That's my own type. That's my own potence.
Yeah, it does jive quite well with your potence abilities. And you are fairly confident that you interrupted things before he had successfully fed on her. Like you, again, as you're feeding, you have a very intimate sense of the well-being of the person you're feeding from. And you think that you can feed without any significant risk to her health.
Excellent.
But
I'd like to take a little step, but not try and drain her all the way.
yeah, but I do believe that did we establish your feeding style is you're not the one who you
blood
don't
bags,
feed
right?
from like blood bags, right?
No. I was planning on that, but because I'm a Ventru, you can't pick that option.
Right. Okay.
So instead, they have to be of the same age that I was when I was turned or younger. So that's why I was looking for med
jeez.
students.
Oh my god.
And so that's why she would potentially work. Beautiful.
Yeah. She seems to be I mean Alex is what, like in his mid 30s, late 20s?
It's 27.
Yeah. So, yes, you think she's roughly the same age. Okay. So you can go ahead and mark 1 hunger off of your sheet.
How do you know what your resonance is?
Different abilities have resonance.
Yeah, so like Auspex is phlegmatic.
Oh.
So if you look at your discipline, that'll tell you what your key resonance is.
And there's a whole thing about like strengthening those characteristics over time, and
That's why I got a herd. Because they feed the resonances I need.
Oh, okay.
I got
didn't write
to
it-
choose the people
I
in
didn't
mine,
write
so
it down.
it bolsters my
Okay,
stuff.
so let me look. Where's
So-
potence?
I will say that, and you guys will have to help me remember this. As you feed, we'll need to note which types you have fed from, and you'll need to kind of keep a log of which types you've fed, and that will factor into being able to spend the advancement points.
Right, that's exactly what I was just reading. Like, how do I get other disciplines? And it's like, oh, you feed on those. Okay. And then if I wanted to get more potent, I would need more caloric people because that's the blood resonance of potent.
Correct.
Okay.
And it is at a 12th generation, at least early on, just feeding from someone who has that resonance type will make progress towards that. As you guys develop additional capabilities, it probably will take stronger versions of that type of resonance to have the same effect. Again, in a very interesting way, it's kind of like an addiction. The more you do it, the stronger you need it to be to get the same result.
Mm-hmm. Everything's terrible. I get it.
Everything is awful.
Why do we
Everything
do
sucks when
this
you're
to
on your own.
ourselves?
All right. So, I believe the question on the table was, Alex, you were just letting him go, right?
I was, not going after him, not pursuing, but trying to shepherd Brittany back to Jennifer so that we can get info about Monica.
All right. And I'll say you shepherd towards the
Along the
VIP
way
section.
back, I'm going to cloud her memory of me feeding on her as well.
Not a problem.
I want her to forget about that.
Yeah. Basically, as you're getting back to the VIP section, you're saying stuff like, I don't know what that guy's problem was. I don't know why he talked to you that way.
I don't know about you, but these flashing lights are starting to make me feel a little lightheaded. I think I'm going to sit down for a bit. Would you care to join me?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you. It's like, yeah, you're right. I don't know why. I don't know why he said that. But I thank you for making him leave me alone.
Oh, forget it. It was nothing.
It's like he seemed like a nice guy, but
Where did you meet a man like that, anyways?
what? Just saw him on the dance floor.
We're going to have a serious conversation about your type.
Well, Jennifer always tells me that I have horrible taste in men.
Seems she's not wrong. You should listen to your friends more often.
And at this point, you're back to the booth, and you pass her off to Jennifer and her other friends. And Jay, you and Rain have made it out onto the main dance floor area, like not in the center of the floor or anything, but you're out there in the crowd now. And you see Alex escorting this girl across the dance floor. And you look up and see that the DJ has just finished his session and is basically like flipped off like the big lights that were focused on him as he was up there spinning, and is now playing more recognizable music over the speaker system. Still, quite loud, quite techno-y. And you see him heading towards the backstage area.
I'm gonna just casually just walk up towards the stage and follow him towards the backstage area.
Okay. As you do that, Alex, Blake looks at you, and do you indicate anything that just went on?
Not yet. Like, I can tell the party about vampires when Jennifer's not here.
Got it.
Does Terry notice that guy leaving the club?
Did he go out the front or the back?
Well,
Like, that's what I'm wondering. Like, do we see a dude, like, clutching his neck, like, with blood running down it, like, leaving the club?
Leave it the club.
I'm gonna say that will be a difficulty 3 check since you don't know to be looking for that.
That's fair. I'm going to roll. Where are my skills for this? What's perception? I don't know.
Awareness.
It's whatever you want it to be.
I don't know. I have, awareness. Okay, I have a dot in awareness, and then I've got
Probably wits. Wits seems like instinct.
well. Can I do composure? Because he's just keeping it cool and just kind of scanning the club while hanging out with everybody.
Ooh, sensing composure. Ooh.
Yeah, I'll let you have that.
I was just looking at the social abilities, you know. Ah, close. I got 2
Alright.
successes.
So you don't notice anything. I mean, again, it's a pretty hectic area. There's lots of people.
No, it's okay. I'm having a good time. I would just if Terry did notice, he probably would have followed the guy.
And I'll give Jay, if you're interested, I'll give you a chance to notice. I mean, you see Alex. I'll give you a chance to see if you noticed some guy leaving.
Okay. I'll do awareness and wits. Just scanning over, looking for someone that's fucking heaving their body through the crowd. And I have heightened senses for the scene. So I get 2 extra dice. Pretty loud club, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so I get +2, but I get a negative for the noise.
Ooh, nice rolls. Is it? Is that good or bad?
I don't think I can re-roll the bestial side.
No,
So
you can't reroll
nothing I can do
the
to
hunger
fix that.
dice.
Tell you what,
No,
though, I will spend a willpower and try to get one of those ones to a success.
Okay, so you can
Reroll.
just
3.
roll 3d10,
Yeah.
spend a willpower.
So that
so 2
turns
more successes.
into 5 successes.
Oh shit!
So even with the 1 success penalty for using your heightened awareness in a loud and frenetic area, as you are scanning to see what was going on, because you had this premonition, so you're a little more alert to it. You see this guy sort of like pushing his way through the crowd along the wall to try to make his way towards the front exit, and he seems to be like holding his neck. Like you don't know what's happened, but you see something unusual in that scene.
I don't know if this has been a thing, but is there a way that Jay can text Alex? Because I saw Alex looking around the description of the guy that's bolting.
I think we've pretty well established that Camria Kindred don't keep cell phones.
We're not allowed to have phones.
Yeah, I know, and I told him, fuck that. I wasn't sure if there was a non-cell phone variant of texting that we would have as a group.
Morse code? Just like whistle a bunch?
No data iPhone message, right? Phone to phone message without a phone plan.
Also, if there is a way that you guys can figure out to do that, you hadn't come up with it yet.
There's those little T-Mobile phones.
Fucking walkie-talkies.
What was it, Sprint? Yeah, those Sprint walkie-talkie phones.
Nextel. Boop. Where you at?
That's what it was.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, that's the next heist, y'all. We need some fucking Nextel
literal,
phones.
literal walkie-talkies.
And let's see. And Rain walked off, right?
Yeah. You also notice that the DJ had stopped, and you see Rain making his way towards the backstage area.
See Terry, he's there.
Yeah,
You guys are the VIP section.
I'm just saying he's massive. He stands out wherever he is.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? Rain has it. I want to tail this guy, so I'm gonna follow him through the club.
Okay. So you're following the guy. Rain is making his way towards the back, and Blake, Terry, and Alex are now with Jennifer and her friends. Who wants to go first?
I mean, I feel like talking to Jennifer is the least interesting thing that's happening.
I'm curious at what happened to Monica.
This is true.
I vote Jennifer.
Okay.
Me too.
I don't think she has much information. Let's see what we can do.
Well, look who I found. What did I miss?
Welcome back.
Oh, Brittany, hey. What do you think? Never thought we'd get back here. And Brittany, seems to be in a good mood, a little dazed. Not like,
She's just buzzed. That's
Yeah.
all. Not too many drinks.
she looks like she might be a little on the drunk side. And she plops down and starts having another drink. I'm assuming that, Blake, as soon as you got back here, you had bottles delivered to the table.
Oh, definitely, yes.
She didn't even have to ask.
So
Just the usual.
yeah, so the wait staff is making a fuss over everyone, and the girls are clearly enjoying themselves, particularly the ones who have Terry's attention.
Oh, why wouldn't they?
So Brittany and Alex continue to talk. Terry and the two other girls are enjoying themselves, and that leaves Jennifer and Blake to have a little conversation.
That was my intention.
So all of her friends are distracted, just us two?
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. Okay.
You got great wingmen.
You guys are great. Thanks, guys. Now I just can't fuck it up. Okay, so she's gonna have, wait for the guy, because she's not gonna pour the drinks. She's gonna wait for the guy to pour the drinks, And so, as soon as he walks away, she's gonna kind of lean in a little bit, do that thing where she, puts her hand under her chin and just kind of looks at her. It's a little bit quieter here, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. It's like, it's so hard to get anyone to give you anything at the bar, and yet these guys are just bringing you everything.
Yeah, this is my place. It's nothing really, but I just, I was really curious to hear what you had to say about Monica. It's never fun to hear when a friend goes missing. It's just been so long,
Oh, I know. I mean, I can't necessarily say that Monica was a close friend or anything, but she really helped me out. She gave me some good leads for interesting stories in the area. She was a big part of how I got the information that's really helped me make my name. It's almost made my career since I started. And
What was the
when
last piece of information you got from her?
Oh, she just, I mean, I guess just being here and being, kind of part of, I don't know, the society around this part of town. She just seemed to know everybody. And, she, like, I guess it's, you know, maybe she just heard a lot of rumors or knew people who knew people kind of stuff. But, like, there were a couple of, I mean, it took a lot of digging. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like she just handed me everything, but there were a couple of people on the the borough, council that were more than a little shady. And she gave me a little bit of a heads up and pointed me in the direction of some of the stuff that was going on. Like, you wouldn't believe the amount of money. Well, I mean, you probably would. You may have read the story, but the amount of money that was being wasted and, I mean, practically embezzled from the construction work in the park and recreation area. And I mean, yeah, I I never could prove it, obviously, but I mean, you just go looking, and the amount of kickbacks people were probably getting on the council. It's like one of them eventually resigned just from all the attention.
And that was the last story you wrote. Sorry, my voice is cracking.
Well, I mean, that one was probably the biggest one. It's the one that took the longest to work into. I mean, I guess the last thing she helped me out with, I came and was talking to her. I'd heard, there's, I mean, everyone knows there's drugs in the area, and I'd heard that maybe uh, there was again some sort of connection to like some of the leadership, the people, sort of in respected positions around the neighborhood and around town. And I figured if anybody would know, she would have at least heard something. But, you know, she told me that, she knew most everyone in with any sort of sway in around here, and none of them were tied to anything. So, I mean, it was a story I was starting to look into, but I I talked to her and figured I was probably just wasting time chasing rumors and people trying to get other people in trouble. So I did drop that one, but no, I mean, she was always. I said she just seemed to know everybody.
Yeah, she was such a light in our life, always being around here. It's gonna be a lot more dull her not being around.
Yeah, I mean, once I sort of lost contact with her, I mean, it was probably a month or more since I'd heard from her, and again, we didn't talk a lot, but I mean, I'd usually check in every couple of weeks, and hadn't heard back from her after a while, and so I started asking around, and it seems like she must have left town. I I mean, she obviously had money.
Why
I
do you
always
think she left town?
Well, I don't know exactly. It's like I thought that, with her, being who she was, she probably had like vacation homes. And I mean, I never saw, I don't know that she was married, but I always assumed she had somebody or was, like to travel, that kind of thing. So I just assumed she was like out of town and had gone, I don't know, to the Bahamas or something. But I don't know. It's like every time I checked in with someone who, I knew her, they all kind of kept coming back with, "Oh no, I just heard that like she had some sort of family thing she had to take care of." And I mean, again, I wasn't close to her, but I'd never really heard her talk about family stuff. So I figured that was just, people's way of saying, "Oh, well, something private was going on and she had to get out of town."
Yeah, you know her. She's always doing stuff. So I could see how you think she'd be gone on vacation. It's just like you said, every time you reach out, it's just an empty line on the other end. It's
Yeah.
just, you know,
And I
us
mean,
girls, we gotta stick together,
oh, absolutely. And, it's. I mean, obviously, if you knew Monica, you probably knew some of the other people she knew. It it kind of seems like, I don't know. It's just recently, but it's weird. It seems like things have gotten, I don't know. Like, I mean, you hear about like the Russians over in the docks. I mean, I don't spend much time over there, and I know it's not a great part of town, but it's always been the Russians in the docks. But I've been hearing people talk about more of those folks showing up over here now, and it seems to more or less coincide with when Monica left. So I don't know. I know she knew a lot of people, but I wouldn't have thought she knew those kind of people. But the timing sort of makes me think that maybe something was going on.
And these Russians, like I feel like Blake would know, but I'm not super familiar. But the Russians, basically, that you're talking about, they're not involved in that previous story that you had with the Borough Council. They're completely different.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I don't know. I mean, what do you ever know about like mob stuff? If mob stuff even really is mob stuff, But I mean, you know enough people who deal in news, and everyone seems to know somebody who knew somebody who knew about like some guy who got on the wrong side of the Russian mob and got like his knees broken or something. And I don't know, you start looking around the Hemlock district, and it's just interesting. Like some of the places that seem to a little different recently.
Oh yeah, I catch your drift there.
Harry's
Oh.
gonna kind of lean, like, get the two friends that he's with, like, get them talking to each other, and then he's gonna lean over and to Blake and just kind of whisper in her ear, ask her about Ace Sokolov.
Ace what?
Speaking of a guy that she might know, Ace Sokolov. That's the guy that he's the anarchist that we know was competing with Monica and Victor, and he tried to make a move and he got killed, and that's around the same time that Victor and Monica went missing. Right?
Close.
Yeah, I think Victor and Monaco were shortly after Ace was down.
Before.
Okay.
Victor and Monica seemed like the story you got from the prince and his people is that Ace was moving in on the territory that Victor and Monica had, and they effectively weren't able to keep him out one way or another, which is why that task has been given to you. But it's being entrusted to relatively new members or prospective members of the Camarilla, because Ace just got killed by the Inquisition. The people who you all had your run-in with right at the beginning had just successfully taken out a group of vampires led by Ace because of his flaunting of the technology rules that the Camarilla enforces.
Ugh.
So, again, effectively, the way you understand it is Ace was moving in and had more or less pushed out Victor and Monica somehow. Made a deal with them, killed them, chased them out, whatever. You don't know exactly.
Well, that's why I'm telling her to ask a reporter about
So,
it.
so that's
Exactly, I'm
about
just saying,
the
but-
same time then is what we're thinking.
But yeah,
Got
but I think it's a very good question to ask. Like, ask about Ace.
So like Terry's gonna whisper in her ear, and she like kind of smiles and like gives like a little laugh, like almost like she's acting like he's flirting in her ear or something, not so much like asking questions. And then she's gonna kind of like take a spin in her drink for a second, and she'll look at it, and then she'll look back up at Monica, or not Monica, Jennifer, and she'll be like, I remember her hanging around this one guy. What was his name? He got, she's gonna like do the like cut neck motion, like dead. Recently, there was a story about it. A big story about it. What was that guy's name? His
Oh, I
card.
don't know. I haven't heard about any big murders recently.
I'm sure it was in the stories. I remember. Who's the guy she was always hanging around?
Well, I mean, obviously she was around Diamond Jamie a lot. I mean, I think I'm pretty sure she owns the club, or I mean, well, he runs it. I don't know which of them owns it, but she always acted like she owned the place. And I don't know. I don't. I mean, there's a few people I can think of, but I haven't heard of anybody like that being killed.
Maybe I'm getting them mixed up with someone else. But I swear I remember reading about it in one of the papers or something. What was his name? Ooh, she's gonna like do another spin of her glass, take a swig, set it down. And she's gonna look. Oh, it was Ace. That's what it was. Ace. You remember anyone named Ace?
Ace. That name does sound familiar. Wait a minute.
Amanda, you can drink too?
Well, she'll puke it up later. I don't know.
Or she's really good at faking drinking and just spits
That's
back in the
what I
glass.
always imagined it was.
She like takes a swig, but like when she's letting the glass back down, all of like she doesn't actually drink any, and it just like falls right back into the glass. So her glass is never actually getting empty, but it looks like she's always drinking.
Backwash.
Nick could drink it. I could drink it, but I have to throw it up at the end of the night.
I have to work on my character sheet.
I
still.
spent points on being able to eat food, but I have to throw it up.
Yeah, the only reason Terry can is because his humanity is high still.
Yeah, you got 1 point higher than the rest of us, I think.
Yeah, and so,
I don't think I'd be able to drink them.
Probably not.
The only thing Rain wants to do is drugs, and he has to make people do drugs and then drink the people, and that's the only way he
We'll
gets
get you, buddy.
said drugs.
We'll get you, buddy. We get you.
I'm not too worried. I got one hunger. I'm not too worried about my hunger right now.
but Jennifer does. She's like, oh no, I remember where I heard that name. Yeah, one of the guys I work with at the paper. He'd heard about this guy Ace, but again, he was with like the Russians. Did Monica know him? And maybe there really is something to that Russian connection.
Like I said, maybe I was getting them confused, with all the people I run into. But yeah, his name was Ace. You said you heard about him in the paper?
Not like in the paper. One of the guys I work with had mentioned it like he was like an up and coming sort of guy in that the organization or whatever. Like he was starting to make a few waves, kind of behind the scenes. But I mean, anytime you talk about that kind of stuff, you never know if like the police are actually trying to do anything about it or not, or if so. I mean, it's more like one of those rumors you hear from people who kind of know people,
Oh, I know. Mm-hmm. Yep. Word on the street. It's always cold.
But no, it's like, and I do hope Monica comes back. Like, yeah, I think I'm going to have to look into this whole Russian thing. Like, if she really does know some of those people, I bet she can point me in the right direction.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what information she may have had.
But anyway, like,
She's gonna kind of look to Terry to kind of see if there was anything else to like ask about.
I mean, she's not giving you anything really.
Yeah, so she's gonna be like, but you know enough about Monica. Tell me about yourself.
I guess you could ask her, just like, this is Nick just thinking. You could ask her more about where the specific Russian activity is in Ridgemont. That way we can go root those places out.
I think we just found it, but double clarification would be good.
Well, now what? I have a semi issue. It's not a big issue, but if we get rid of the Russians, we lose our supplier.
No. We're just pushing them out of Ridgemont, right? Like, that's the thing.
Move
like,
them
we have
downriver.
to. Yeah, if we can get them out, then anybody that comes from the Camarilla side, we're just like, bitch, Prince told us this was our land. Like,
you could still import their drugs, just get them out of our turf.
If this goes bad, this goes from us, like, trying to push them out to a gang war.
Yeah, but they would be fighting the whole Camarilla.
Well,
the Prince told us
do we
to
have
do
that much
this.
sway?
This is what the Prince told us to do.
He also said if we fuck up, it's all on us, and they're just gonna take it over anyway.
Well, then we better not fuck up.
Yeah, let's not fuck up.
But if we're gonna win a fucking turf war, we have to know who our enemy is and where they are.
I completely agree.
I agree with that too. I do think we should meet them before we start, like, attacking their shit.
Oh, 100%.
We don't even know where their shit is.
We just picked it up and dropped it off.
I know, I was just throwing the idea out.
I mean, I do just want to point out that you have about 3 pounds of their shit in your backpack.
They were very clearly Russian.
I'm talking about the places in Ridgemont that we don't know about.
Yeah,
I know. I'm just enjoying the like, wait a minute. Are we about to start a gang war?
We got Russian drugs? What?
That was what we were going to do from the start.
Yes, interrogation, infiltration, and finding locations.
Without role-playing through it all, you can continue to pump Jennifer for information. And I will say that we'll get Blake to make a roll here in a little bit to see how charismatic and charming she is, to see if Jennifer will start coming to her for information and how effectively you can get information in return.
Then I can be in charge of what's in the papers too.
That'd be cool.
I mean,
Harry's going to try to figure out if one of these girls is into some freaky shit.
Wait, do you start it with, do you like Twilight?
I used that
Hey,
one already.
Terry, have you met Brittany?
Have you seen NCIS?
You fed on her.
So, what you get, and the more you sort of probe and ask questions, and again, as your characters, there would be more natural knowledge to draw from. You start to piece together that so far every person you've gotten in touch with that had a connection to Monica, and you're starting to see more and more that Monica used these people to do things like get stories in the newspaper that maybe put people she didn't want in a bad light. Or, she's had some connection to someone on the police force. She's had some level of connection to the local city government. So you're starting to see a sort of a network of influence,
Like where the levers of power are.
basically. And each person you've been able to track down in that network so far all say that about anywhere from 2 to 3 months ago, Monica dropped off the radar.
Oh, we got that. We've been getting that.
So the one piece of information you get from Jennifer is that she's sort of actively been trying to use her contacts to track Monica down, and effectively someone semi-reliable saw her like at the airport boarding a small private jet type plane around the time that she disappeared.
So we're not going to find Monica.
You're getting the very strong impression that she got the hell out of town. And you're also, like, Blake in particular would know, it is nearly as much of a crime to abandon your responsibility as it is to fail at it.
What could make her run?
That's an excellent question.
Well,
Yep.
she was good. It means she was going to fail, probably. I don't know. We got to figure out why she left town.
And again, as you're thinking this sort of stuff, you have to keep coming back to, well, what about Victor?
Yeah, because no one. I mean, apparently they were like in it together, and he disappeared, right?
Yeah. And we haven't investigated him yet.
But they were like known to be together, right?
No.
Yeah.
No?
Not necessarily.
Narrative.
They're known in vampire circles to run
Oh,
together,
okay.
but not in social circles. I
Correct.
believe.
Okay, because that's like one of the reasons why I asked it as like, what was that one guy she ran around with, and she didn't name Victor or Ace, and I was like,
Yeah,
But that's
no,
it,
it's
though.
because I think Victor and Monica were known as vampires.
I mean, they shared the turf that we're holding at the moment, right?
Right.
okay,
Because
gotcha.
they were both members of the Camarilla, and Victor is a Toreador. No, the only reason we came looking for Monica is she's a Bruja, and that's what Terry is. So like that's why I wanted to try to look for
So it
And
seems
hey,
like
if you hadn't gone looking for Monica, you wouldn't have found the black cat yet.
her.
Ooh.
So, as you guys have been getting that, we'll quickly jump over to Rain.
Yo.
You have you've gone back towards the back part of the building again, where that sort of office waiting room was, and you're following Diamond. Jamie has gone back that way too, and you see him talking to the guard who lets you in the back door. You hear him asking, "Has the delivery man showed up yet?"
I'm gonna walk up holding the package and gently cough into my hand. Mr. Jamie, we have business.
Ah, yes, yes. Come here to the office. Come with me. And he takes you to that same little small side office off the storage area that you were waiting in before. And he goes and sits behind the desk.
I missed my moment. That's okay.
It's like,
Tell him to wait outside his own office.
I'm going to walk in and close the door behind me.
guess we haven't met before. You new with Mr. Howard?
My name's Rain. I'll be representing Mr. Howard from now on.
Ah, excellent. Well, Rain, I assume you have the goods?
I'm gonna drop him on his desk.
Like, aggressively, or just sort of
Um,
plop them down?
plop him down. Not like aggressively, but like I'm tired of carrying this.
And he opens the carefully wrapped package, and I mean, haven't you haven't asked or seen what was in there, but he's opening it up just to check the integrity of the merchandise.
I'm a really good delivery man. I don't snoop.
And what he opens up is, you can see, and you've been around the drug scene enough to see a fairly healthy supply of a variety of party drugs. Like, this isn't really any sort of hardcore stuff. It's not like you've got heroin or cocaine. It's, ecstasy, that type of MDMA, I think is the right term.
Okay.
And he sees that there's basically 4 different varieties in in separate packaging.
Did they
He
bring
goes,
back the lemon flavor?
Hawaiian punch.
maybe this is the specialty one. Maybe this is the super special lemon flavor. The one that makes you see
Birthday
lemon
cake.
and taste blue.
Oh, that's a good one. As he's like halfway through inspecting, I'm going to cough again. Mr. Jamie, I've already spent too much of my evening waiting for you. The money, please.
Ah, yes, of course. I do apologize you showed up during my set, but I do have to keep the business running. And he reaches into the desk and pulls out a small lockbox, puts a key in it, opens it up, and pulls out 3 packets of bills and stuffs them in a small, manila envelope. And, he's very clearly showing you that the money is there as he's putting it in the thing, so you don't have to like count it all. And
Okay.
he hands it over to you.
Good. Rain can't count.
Bro, once he got past like 200, I got distracted. There's the squirrel. No, but as he hands me the envelope, I'm gonna fold it up and put it in my inner suit pocket. Tell him, thank you. I'll give
Thank
Mr.
you.
Howard your regards.
I appreciate that, and tell him I look forward to our next delivery next month.
Of course. Is it always the same amount?
It varies. Depends on what the current fad is. You know how it goes. Some weeks people want to enjoy themselves and be high as a kite. Others people are looking to just relax and chill. So demand fluctuates, but there's always a demand.
Alright, so 3 pounds of glitter is worth about $10,000.
And
Right.
of course, that effectively the bulk rate is still
lot
only
cheaper.
about half or less of what the per pill or per capsule rate is going to be when they actually sell it to the people who are consuming it.
Oh yeah, I understand that.
And he, John Damien looks at you and says, I know we haven't met before, but there's something about you that's just a little familiar.
You might be aware of some of my associates. Blake?
Oh, you're one of Blake's friends. Is she here?
I do believe so.
Oh, that's wonderful news. and you see this look of like anticipation and desire cross his face.
I've never seen this before, have I? Or
You
do
have
I?
not.
So I wouldn't understand what this is.
No, to you, given your background and your experience, this looks like somebody who thinks he's about to get a booty call.
Ah, well, that's your prerogative, but I do have business, Mr. Jamie. Have a good night. And I'm gonna head out of his office while he's in his weird, um, euphoria phase.
All right. Are you gonna head
Gonna,
out, or
I'm gonna head towards the front because that's where I last left Jay, and I was aware of the party. So I'm actually gonna head um pretty much to the only people who have vehicles and kind of like my business is done here.
okay? So as you're making your way up, Alex, I'm gonna say it sounded like you were attempting to do this a few minutes ago. You sort of pass the girls off to Terry, and Terry has gotten them down on the dance floor, and he's shown them a good time. And we'll we'll roll in a minute to see if any of them seem to be interested enough in Terry to you know get a cab back with him. And that leaves Alex and Blake at the table while Rain is making his way up. And Jay will come to you in just a second to see how far you've
Yep.
made it.
So, seeing Rain approaching the table, Alex is going to if he's looking anywhere else about the club, Alex is going to make a point to wave him over to us. So he doesn't go out to dance or anything like that.
All right. Rain, you're able to spot him. You see, like, again, they're kind of back there behind the another version of the velvet rope. But the interior hostess sees them waving you over and lets you through.
I'm gonna walk over and just sit down at the booth. I'm guessing there's like an seat on the edge that's empty. Just kind of plop down that like I belong there
Oh yeah,
and kind of look down, look around at all the new friends everyone has made. Um, my business is done. I see you guys have company, but I need to finish this tonight, or not tonight, but soon.
I don't have any issues with that, but you might want somebody watching your back going forward. We're not alone in the club. And he's going to make like a little fang-like gesture with his two fingers at his mouth. Others are lurking about. Just keep an eye on one another.
Missed a fight?
It wasn't much of a fight.
You got him?
You sound surprised.
I
You'll
just
find that there's a lot of specialities that come with the Ventru bloodline.
I'm still fuzzy on the bloodline. Last time I learned, they just told me I'm like a dog or a wolf, but fuck that. I'm me. But hell
Don't listen
yeah.
to Jay. He's always got his head blared into a monitor.
Well, it's not just Jay, it's that Fox guy I met and also the lady who turned me. She's just if I could describe her, it'd be the white wolf.
Do you see yourself as a wolf or a dog?
I see myself I see myself as a dog trying to pretend to be a wolf. Maybe one day I'll make it.
Maybe once you stop start barking back at your master.
Well, I do have some I have some business to talk to at the Borrego. Like as you say that out loud, I'm gonna so I'm sitting on $45,000.
Damn.
Yeah.
That'll go a long way to getting the hideout along.
But it also means that we burn that bridge, which we could also use that bridge for informations on the Russians, because this is the only lead we have towards the Russians. And I'm having a conversation that I want to have at the Bodega, so I'll stop. Or Bodega. Sorry. Bodega.
Sounds like it's quite the opportunity to dig up something on Victor.
Victor, also that Ivan guy from the deal, and Ace Sokolov.
Sokolov. Thought Jay went with you. Where is Jay?
I don't know. I got distracted by that DJ guy. Also, that DJ guy got like really weird when I mentioned your name. I'm like, look over at Blake.
How do you mean?
I don't know, he just he was all tense, and then I mentioned your name and he just softened up and his eyes got kind of, I don't know, dreamy.
Oh, he's a sweet boy.
Yeah, he might come looking for you.
I hope he does.
Okay. Well, he's in the back.
That's fine. I like for them to search.
You're kind of funny.
Okay.
Ooh. Unusual activity.
Basically, going
Right.
back to one of the questions that Terry was prompting is like, okay, if you've heard rumors of Russian activity, like where? So what we'll pick some locations around the neighborhood,
And this
either
neighborhood
next session
would be
or
near the
between
docks,
sessions.
right?
Do it.
This neighborhood where the Black Cat is probably near the docks.
It's close to the estuary or the river / ocean.
Yeah,
But
they,
if we
they
go
probably
back to
own the
the-
whole coastline.
So if we go back to the big map, basically you're kind of over in this area right about now. And the major, like the big industrial docks areas are back here.
That's the Russian
There's-
docks over there.
There's some also here, but like basically across the river area here between Ridgemont and Gimbaton, that's kind of the border is the river. But the real sort of, from what you guys have heard, being residents of New Amsterdam, it's kind of the further east you go in the docks, the shadier and more dangerous it gets. I'm not sure, Amanda, at what point you got back, but Alex did share with you a very brief version of the events from earlier.
Okay. I did not hear that part. I'm so sorry. That was my bad. Okay. So I guess after everything, yeah, she'll, which I guess is kind of like important. Did he pull her aside separately for this?
We were
Yeah,
at the booth.
Terry
when
has taken all the girls out to dance.
Okay, okay. So I'm gonna look at him and say, um, well, I guess it's nice that you gave him a warning, but next time this happens, there's a little bit of a protocol in play where we basically take him to the prince.
I mean, I know we're forbidden to destroying one another, one kindred to another, but I figured it's good to instill that there's a sense of honor back about this place. Establishing ownership, presenting a message for him and his kind.
Well, no, definitely. Like I said, I think it's good that you gave him a message. He can spread the message along. That was their warning. Now, if it happens again, it's no longer a warning. They've been warned, they've been told, and we'll
And
just react as necessary.
since we're shy of the Suburban, I didn't think that you wanted a +1 to your vehicle.
I wouldn't be turning him into the prince.
Exactly. It's a long walk. And these shoes aren't quite broken in just yet.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, DM. I might just have a skewed version of this in my brain. Like, I feel like this club, like, people, like, the owner's obviously vampires, so it's like, I feel like now that we've been here, we've kind of been establishing ourselves, there's, like, that domino effect type thing where it's like, if we're like, hey, this person doesn't belong, they already kind of have a system in place to, like, take the person away, or do we need to actually be the ones to capture them and turn them in?
I'll say, with your longer experience, you would know that there are protocols and protections for the vampires who are part of the Camarilla. Like, if someone crosses into your domain and feeds, you get to smack them around, you don't get to kill them. If, however, you find someone who is not part of the Camarilla, basically poaching on your territory, you have a double duty. The first is to protect your own domain. That's your prerogative. The second is that basically that makes them a rogue kindred. And those are to be culled aggressively and by the authorities. So you would be very much encouraged to capture them, take them to the effectively the law enforcement version of the Camarilla, and just hand them over.
Okay, but this one that we had interactions with, they were part of the Camarilla?
You strongly suspect they weren't.
They weren't. Okay. So this is a no.
So let's just say it's probably a good thing that Jay, who we're about to find out how successful he's been, is following this person.
Definitely good. Because, yeah, no. Okay, so then...
I have none of that information.
I'm sorry.
Actually, no,
You're fine.
you all have been given, again, it's not been drilled into you at this point. That's why I pasted the whole third tradition thing. I'm saying you've probably talked to Blake enough to sort of get a little bit of a feel for how this works. This is very, again, feudal, medieval, like there's the anarch vampires, which there's an uneasy peace with in this city, but either faction would be upset with rogue vampires who don't play by the rules. And the fact that this, this encounter seemed to be with someone who didn't recognize other vampires, might indicate that they don't really know what the hell's going on and think they can just do whatever they want. And that's bad news for everybody.
Okay. Okay, so this changes things. I just thought it was like a courtesy, like, oh yeah, they just name, but no, this is like a bigger deal than that. Okay.
Again, this is why capture first, because they could be just particularly ill-mannered.
So do you have any idea where he may have scampered off to?
And with that, we're going to flash over to Jay.
Last I saw, shoot.
So Jay, you saw him sort of push his way through and out the door. The bouncer doesn't really make too much of a fuss about someone leaving who doesn't seem to, actively be like stealing something. I assume you're going to continue to follow him?
Yep. I will do it stealthily if I can.
All right. So he's not doing a very good job of hiding anything. So just take an ability roll of your choice that you think is appropriate, and we'll see how successful and what sort of information you gather.
All right. I would say maybe wits for tracking. So maybe stealth wits for tracking.
Okay, works for me.
Would this... I know I'm kind of mixing two things, but would this count as a perception type skill for tracking, or separate for stealthing?
And I'd say your heightened senses will assist you.
Ooh. I'm bestial failing all over the place.
No, again, the bestial failure will come up anytime you roll a 1 on a hunger die.
Yeah, I know.
So you don't have much trouble at all following this guy, and he doesn't head to a vehicle. Like, your first suspicion would be somebody heading out of the club would go to a parking garage and hop in a car. He does head over towards a parking garage, but then he continues right on past it. And he starts making his way south along, I guess that's probably like 13th Street.
2 blocks over and then starts heading southbound. Gotcha.
And he starts making his way, kind of over into this general part of the area. And I assume you're just going to continue following him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to see if he takes a moment to stop or, catch his breath, tend to his wounds, something like that.
He does, once he gets away and into a little more of a rundown area, he sort of steps into an alley briefly and seems to kind of just stand there for a few minutes. It's hard to tell what exactly it is he's doing. But when he comes back out, you see that he is noticeably paler. Like, when he left the club, he looked like, just kind of a regular dude who was kind of pissed. Now he looks a lot more like the rest of you look when you're not using the Blush of Life.
Yeah. The ruse is coming down. Gotcha.
And he continues south again. And, it's at this point, you've been following him for about 15 or 20 minutes. But he's ended up just south of Hemlock in a part of town, or a block that is pretty run down and has some boarded up shops. and you see him force his way through a poorly locked gate into an area behind one of those boarded up shops.
I'll take a moment to look around. The way that he forced his way through, did it look like he has been there like many times and that's just the way they get through, or is he panicked in his...
No, this looks like he knows exactly where to go, what part of the gate to pull on, and it gives him enough space to get through. And you suspect this is probably, his den or lair or whatever you want to call it.
Jay will mark the address and he will stay with his heightened senses. He'll maybe sneak around the back of the building, see if there's maybe a fire escape or something, and see if he can listen in to see if there's multiple voices at this location. If he doesn't hear anything for about 15-20 minutes, he's going to bolt back to the bodega at this point because he knows he's close to it.
Okay. You not even gonna make you roll for that. You stay, you listen. There's no other voices. You can hear someone talking, but it's just one voice and it sounds rather angry.
Like he's
but
maybe
there's no
chastising
responses.
himself or something.
Hmm?
Like he's chastising himself or something.
More like he's, venting about something that happened. You hear the occasional thud like he's, angry and punching a wall.
But I don't pick up any specifics, right?
Yeah, no, nothing specific.
All right, I'll mark down the address. He's about 5 blocks away from our current location, so I'll move back to the bodega, and I have said this. I put a track phone in Rain's pocket because I sent him
I can confirm this.
GPS locations to Mary Lou Freebush. So I'll get back to the bodega, and once Jay is in the safe house, he will send a message to Rain saying, at the shop, the roast beef was a little wild, but I found the cheese in the cabinet. So the sandwich is ready whenever you're hungry. I don't think he knows the code, but I'm trying to give it in code just in case if somebody's looking at his messages.
And who's feeling lucky?
I haven't got the... I'd like to roll.
You roll something.
Yeah, I haven't rolled tonight.
All right. Give me a difficulty 2 skill challenge of your choice for... We'll say it's going to be a social challenge.
Also,
Okay.
I just read in the rules that with the willpower rolls, they reset at the beginning of every session unless the storyteller left on a cliffhanger. So make sure you use your willpower rolls, guys.
So I have high composure and decent intimidation.
Okay.
Does that work?
That works.
Okay. Composure. I would like to use the thingy.
You can willpower for 3d10.
In this case, you don't have to.
Okay.
It was just I needed a dice pool to see if you could get 2 successes. So I would like for you to explain to me how, using intimidation and composure, you ended up with the keys that Rain needs to get the suburban home when Jay was driving.
Oh,
And this is, you can easily flashback. I mean, this could be
Okay,
something
cool.
that happened whenever.
Yeah, no. So when we're first heading into the office and I'm heading over to the chair, um, I'm gonna look at Jay. Like, have you ever done a drug deal before?
No, I've never done a drug deal before.
Are you one sec, are you Jay or Bishop right now?
Bishop in the club.
Does Bishop stand up straight?
Yes, he does. Very
Okay,
authoritative.
Okay, then I'll do it the opposite. You gotta relax a little. I'm gonna reach out and like grab your shoulders. Just relax, calm down. You're too tense. You're gonna make them nervous. You want to make them, and like as I'm trying to like move you a little bit, to show you composure while intimidating. I don't know, and stand fucking still while I fix you and use composure. And as I'm patting him down, nick the keys.
I like it.
All right.
So, if I might, since I had premonition active, I noticed that he's going for the keys, and I reached down and I pulled them out before he can get to the pocket. I think you're going to need these later.
Okay.
I like your tactics, though, Rain. It's improving.
You gotta go on the fly. Wait, you're Bishop right now, right?
Yes.
All right.
You're taking control. That's what we need.
I'm gonna go sit in this chair like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. Hopefully he walks in. Watch.
So as Rain goes and sits back at the desk, Bishop pulls out of his pocket a chess piece and he starts juggling it between his fingers while he's sitting in the corner relaxing his shoulders.
Is it a rook?
It's a pawn.
And
Well,
here I
that's
thought for sure it
fucking
would be a
ominous.
bishop.
I was making a bad joke, but he just made it ominous.
All right. So, I think that's where we're probably going to wrap up this session. Oh, wait, no. I have one last thing we have to do. Terry,
Yeah.
let's see how successful you are at identifying and wooing a target.
Okay. What do you want me to roll?
That's up to you, man. What does a consensualist use to convince someone to get freaky?
Persuasion and charisma.
Did I say you roll that?
If it was manipulation, then it wouldn't be consensual, right?
Yeah, it's somebody who is into some kinky stuff and is willing to have kinky
They
stuff
have
done
to
to
want
them
it. You can't make them want it.
with minimal questions asked.
You got this.
4 successes.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'll
Oh,
say
wait. Hold on. I'm supposed to add one more for beautiful, I'm assuming. I
Go
gotta
for over
remember
the
to
top,
do-
see if you get a second
gotta
one.
remember. Okay, I gotta remember to do that.
I want to say with 4 successes, effectively, either of the 2 girls you've been flirting with since you got there are interested, and you can basically ask whichever one you'd like.
I mean, which one seems more, I guess I want,
You want their blood type?
I'm trying to think, yeah, because I was just looking at those. Because Potence, I need somebody who's physical. Which one's more physically fit?
Okay, well, Ryan, can you give me a lady's name?
Phoebe.
And Amanda, can you give me another lady's name?
Sasha.
All right. So Ryan's going to roll for Phoebe. Amanda's going to roll for Sasha. And we'll see which one's more athletic. So each
So
of you
this
roll
is
me
not-
4d10s.
So these are two other ladies other than Jennifer and Brittany. Right?
It's Sasha.
Sasha, like, you're pretty confident she may even be some sort of like dancer, uh, an athlete of some kind.
Russian ballerina.
Like, could be a ballerina. Phoebe is more the book type.
That would improve my presence ability. But no, I want let's go for
More
we're
beautiful.
going for athletic.
All right. And you
Sorry.
invite
What was her name?
Sasha.
Sasha. Okay.
You invite Sasha back with you, and she kind of gets the nod of approval from her friends. And you two have a exciting evening where she tries out something she's never tried before.
Well, actually, Terry's gonna be a gentleman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And is actually going to because he doesn't need to feed tonight, right? And so I don't think he's gonna do that. I think he's just gonna make sure she gets home safe, and like because he wants it to be something he can set up to do more than just once, right?
Sure.
And so he's going
Oh.
to like just make sure she gets home safe, and like, I guess he'll go as far as she wants to go because of the blush of life. You could simulate having sex, right?
That is correct.
So he'll go as far as she wants to go, but he's not necessarily going to feed on her tonight. He was going to wait until she's more comfortable with him.
Terry's
Okay.
playing the long game.
So
We
I
take
will say that-
consensualist very seriously over here. At
I
Terry.
agree.
So I'll say that your luck is with you tonight, and she was both out to have a good time and was very, happy to have met you and invite you back to her place where she already has some toys of the kinky variety. And you both have an enjoyable evening, and she definitely wants to hang out again.
See, that's the goal there.
It's like you don't get the impression that she's necessarily looking for a relationship,
Nope, me neither.
but she's your willingness to experiment and her interest align very well this evening.
Terry has lots of benefits.
Got to think about how she Terry will tell her. Oh God, there's no way to make this sound not toxic.
You into biting?
Well, no, because there's no way to get a hold of Terry, right? So what's he gonna say? Like, you have to wait until I get a hold of you?
I'll call
You
you.
can give her my number.
No. Terry will say,
Make it
He's
romantic,
off
like
social media.
make it romantic, like I'll meet you on the night of the full moon.
yeah, that's what he'll do. Instead of say like, he'll just set up another date for them to meet up. That's a great idea.
Black Cat, 3 nights from now.
And she's totally down for that. She asks if you want her number, and I'll help you out a little. I'll say that you tell her that somebody just stole your phone. You haven't had a chance to get a new one yet.
Oh, that's a good idea. There you go, Ben. You're using your noggin.
Sticky note.
Lying. Why didn't I think of that?
You're not a paladin. You're a fucking vampire. Lie
I mean-
your ass off.
Technically, it's not lying. Someone did just steal your phone
That's true.
like
It's
a
true.
few days ago. No, so that goes off very well for you.
And Terry's not going to stay late either. He's not pretending like he's staying the night or anything. He's going to leave.
Right.
And depending on what time he gets home, we're going to go vampire hunting.
Well, let's see.
That's a tale for another time.
I'm going to say all right. It was about 3 hours after you guys left the club. You left the club at about 1 o'clock. So you're getting home before dawn, but definitely too late in the evening to try to do anything else.
Then I guess we'll have to catch that fucker tomorrow.
All right. So to wrap up the session, what have we learned tonight? You've learned that, or you've confirmed that Monica is just gone in the wind, and no one seems to have any idea of how to track her down.
But we don't know what happened to Victor.
That's right. You haven't even begun to look into what happened to Victor yet.
Yeah.
We'll find out next time whether Blake and Diamond Jamie have another encounter before leaving the Black Cat. We know that you have a squatter of some variety who is both hunting and abiding in your territory. And you have a few locations around the Hemlock District that your new friend Jennifer has heard may have seen some interesting activity lately.
Now, would the Hemlock District be near Hemlock Avenue by chance?
Yeah, the Hemlock neighborhood is effectively the 4 labeled streets.
It's ours, right?
Yeah, that is the core of your
Gotcha,
territory.
Gotcha.
Everything the light touches.
Yeah, the Black Cat up here is a little outside y'all's territory, but it's certainly close enough that you could exert some influence or expectations.
We're going to put a bump out on our territory.
I learned if you sit down to do a menacing, stare in a chair, to have patience.
Don't get back up.
Yep, just sit there and wait. It'll be worth it. Because then they'll walk in, and they'll sit in the chair, and you'll miss your moment.
Yeah, it's always the
Sorry.
problem about following a Malkavian. They are more than a little bit insane.
Ah,
But I hope everyone enjoyed the session.
Very much, yes.
thank you so much for running. This was a lot of fun.
I didn't even realize we went late.
Yeah.
Well, lucky for you guys. It's been a long week, but I still had the energy tonight, and I don't have to go in. At least I don't think I'm going to have to go into work tomorrow. So,
Oh, nice.
I hope you don't.
Awesome.
all right. Well, guys, it's been fun, and I look forward to next time.
Sam,
Definitely.
I've been really enjoying this. I'm glad we're doing this.
Excellent. And I know I've still got to work on pacing and maybe being like, I feel like it's my job not to be too obvious with information, but I know sometimes that can feel like I'm not giving you any information. So if you feel like you need, like, okay, I'm a little lost on what we should be doing or what what you're trying to tell us. Just kind of let me know on that front. But you at this point, I feel like you've latched on to each of what I would consider the currently relevant major plot areas. So
Hell yeah.
I have now made it my goal to build up Rain's confidence. So I think the old boy needs some help.
after you attempted to crush it,
What exactly? Molding him like putty in my hands.
Like the-
Gangsters.
Like the Jesse Pinkman that he is.
well, now that you've had just the slightest taste of vampire on vampire combat,
Looking forward to it next week.
We can do it.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I'm-
stay very far away.
I'm gonna take that dude's head off. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I mean,
I'm looking forward to some of the scenes where, like, Terry confronts an individual who is taking advantage of young women in the area, and I see doing some meaningful
Shit.
change.
Jacques Monet. Yeah, you gotta kill that dude, Terry. Jacques Monet.
He's Blake's friend, though.
Wait, is he?
He's a fashion designer.
Blake
Okay.
knows him.
Oh, I thought they were
No.
friends.
Blake knows everybody.
Jacques is the one that's not my favorite person.
You
Yeah.
wouldn't mind if Jacques Monet went missing.
Sometimes his fashion
Skipped
taste
town.
isn't on point.
Maybe he'll just
All right,
think
everybody.
twice about human trafficking.
Night, Ben.
Have a good night, guys. Thank
Night,
you,
Ben.
Ben.
Night, Amanda.
Thank you
Night,
all.
Ryan. Night,
Catch you all
Lucas.
later.
Night, Nick.
Later, y'all.
Are we doing Strixhaven this week?
Yeah, what
Oh.
are we doing?
Yeah, I guess we are. I should prep that.
Heck yeah.
You should prep that.
Good. Thanks
My
for the
God.
reminder. Are we playing Magic this weekend? And a little Final Fantasy.
Bro, I would just. So, our DM for Final Fantasy works a side job, not because he needs some money, but because he knows the owner and they pay him a lot of money to do it just for one day.
But the problem is, it's an hour away in a different town.
And he finishes at like 7, so he gets to our place by 8, and everyone's at my house by 7 because that's when it normally starts.
Saying he gets there by 8